Now, everyone's getting a treat today. I'm going to be reviewing an NES classic. Once again, I'm sure you can read the title of the video, but in case your English skills are a bit limited, it's going to be Turtles 2, the arcade game. I'm only covering the NES port this time around, but maybe someday I'll actually hit the actual arcade game. Now, because it is based off of the arcade game, it's completely different from the original NES game. It changes from a side-scrolling action and platforming game to strictly a beat-em-up. You choose from one of the 4 turtles and go around destroying any Foot Clan members that get in your way. If you have a friend, that's even better as the game features co-op. And for your viewing pleasure, a friend helped me out with this one, so I actually have co-op footage to show. The premise is that Shredder is after April again. Yeah, you couldn't see that coming, could you? So, as always, the 4 turtles decide that April shouldn't be in captivity and set out to rescue her. So you got about 10 levels that stand in between you and April's rescue. And while you're in the middle of trying to rescue April, you may as well put an end to the freak snowstorm in Manhattan on the guy. Once you begin the game, you'll be able to pick a turtle. Obviously, each player can only choose one turtle, and you can't choose the same one. Each one has no difference between the others, so it's really just personal preference on which one you want to go with. You then get thrown right into the first level, which is a torched alleyway. The game contains what may be one of the first licensed advertisements, as you'll see ads and billboards for Pizza Hut. I could go for a pizza right now. Anyway, the controls are simple. A jumps while B attacks. However, the key to the game is the jumping attack you can perform when you press B immediately after you jump. This deals a power attack that will kill any regular enemy in one hit. Bosses are a bit more dangerous to hit with this move, but if you're careful, it works wonders. But back to the levels. The graphics are simply amazing for the NES, and it's a vast improvement over the first NES game. There's plenty of detail for the enemies and environments alike. I mean, right when you start the first stage, you'll notice a nice, colorful, fiery blaze in the foreground. No, it won't damage you, but at least it looks nice. The Foot Clan will break down doors, revealing more fire in those rooms. When you get to April's apartment, it's decorated very well. It's actually believable that you're battling in her living room. After you defeat the boss, Shredder comes and takes April. You then see a still shot of the turtles jumping out of the window after him. It's just awesome. The only problem with the game is that sometimes some characters will have that odd pastel coloring to them. The turtles themselves aren't too bad, but Bebop in particular just looks like he's in the wrong game. The third stage is the sewer. You think that this might be on the bland side, but it's not. The floor has a nice texture along with the water. If you stay in the water too long, missiles will start flying at you. I have no idea where they come from though. Maybe it's some sort of security measure. It's cool because you can easily rack up points if you can get the timing down enough. So let's move on from the graphics and go to the villains of the game. Your main enemy is the Foot Clan. There's different variations of them, typically denoted by what color uniform they're wearing. The purple ones are the most common ones, and they just throw simple punches and occasionally throw a shuriken at you. The blue ones throw knives. The white ones have a sword and try to swipe awkwardly at you, or sometimes they'll do a leaping attack that's pitifully easy to dodge. The red ones carry weapons, typically large hammers that they smash with your feet with, or even a simple rifle. But in addition to the Foot Clan, you also meet up with the Rock Soldiers, Mousers, or Snowmen that fire rockets. Okay, so the Snowmen are only in the snow stage, but they turn out to be robots anyway. But what about when you're in the stage where a paper tiger is attacking you, or some hunchback ninjas are coming after you? And for the record, it's at this stage where the game actually starts getting difficult. The sound effects aren't anything really to write home about, but the music is very catchy, and much of it is actually a remix version of the theme song. Yeah, get that. This time around, they actually include the theme song. But, it is a Konami and Ultra game, so I guess we shouldn't have expected otherwise. Konami is known for having some awesome music in its games. In addition to the parts where you just bash in the Foot Clan and soldiers' heads, you do get a few breaks where you skate around on a board. These must be some really high-end boards because when you jump in any direction, the board follows you. Wonder why I haven't seen these on the streets at all, though. You start off with 3 lives, unless you use a code that gives you 10. If you're playing with a friend and they get game over, they can actually use one of your lives to continue the game. Every 200 points you get, you gain another life. This may sound easy, but keep in mind that you only get 1 point for every defeated enemy, including the bosses. So in a nutshell, you just need to kill 200 enemies to get 1 life. If you're running low on health, there's usually 1 pizza power-up in the stage near the end, but if you're playing with a friend, you'll need to either discuss who needs it more, or just make a mad dash to get it before they do. Another thing is that although the arcade cabinet allowed for 4 players, the NES is only capable to allow you to play with 1 other person. You'd think that with something like the multi-tap you'd be able to get in 4 players, but that isn't an option here. Let me touch on the bosses real quick, and then I'll wrap this review up. They're difficult enough so that you'll need to be careful, but at the same time, they can be slightly predictable. Jump kicks are going to be your friend here, because if you attempt to get close for regular attacks or the jumping power attack, most of the time the boss will just slap you away. Basically, when possible, you can jump kick at just the right angle so that it damages your foe, but you get enough distance from them so that they can't counter your attack right away. If you do it right, you'll just take minimal damage the entire battle. This is pretty much the same for any boss. When you reach Krang, he's incredibly easy as he'll spend much of his time just taunting you. The music is pretty humorous too. After Krang, you finally fight Shredder, who clones himself. Not even funny. At least the music is pretty epic. After you do enough damage to Shredder, his helmet will pop off. If it seems to pop off too early, you probably just got his clone damaged. If you kill the clone first, which is actually probable since it has less health, he'll just copy himself again. Thankfully, if you die at this part, you'll just continue at Krang as long as you have one of your 3 continues left. The biggest problem with Shredder isn't really his difficulty. He has a super cheap move where he'll shoot out a few lightning beams. If you get hit by one of them, it'll instantly take away your mutation and make you just a regular turtle, instantly killing you. This move sucks, and both Shredder and his clone will use it. If you're tenacious enough, he'll fall, but it isn't easy. Oh, and just because I used the Lives code this time doesn't mean I've never finished the game without it before. When I used to own my NES, I was able to kill Shredder before I even knew about the code. But for some reason, I don't remember the game being this difficult. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is arguably one of the best games available on the NES, and it's easy to see why. Everything about the game fits well, and there's really no major negatives about it. It's a challenging beat 'em up that will keep you busy for a while. If you haven't tried it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Seriously, go play it. Final score? 10 out of 10. This is Reaper. Happy fragging. And now if you'll excuse me, I'm hungry for a pizza.